See him driving around town. He may have a hard hat and a hammer in his hand. He's got a lot of building coming up. Good morning, Greg. How you doing? Welcome to Inside the Locker Room.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Do you have your hard hat on this morning, Greg?
No, not yet. We obviously want to get our news out with everything that we've been working on and planning for the next 10 years. And part of what we're doing at this point is trying to raise the money and find a financial model that can work to continue to move our program forward for many more years.
Greg, I appreciate you being on. My question, this is just a general question, is when you got here and looked around about things that you wanted to do, how long did it take you to figure that maybe for the future, these are the things that we need to do, both football, basketball, and other sports concerning? Because I know you've done such a great job in sort of setting the framework at Mississippi State and done a lot of stuff at Arizona. Did this come up pretty quickly in your mind?
Well, yeah, I can tell you, Coach, one of the things we did, or I did right away, is I just spent a lot of time listening and watching and touring and looking at everything and hearing from our folks. And that, when I say our folks, that's our staff, that's our coaches, that's our fans, our student athletes, obviously our campus, and then our letter winners and students and everybody. What are we doing well? Which obviously we're doing so much at such a high level. And then what are areas that we need to continue to improve? And you look at the best organizations out there, and obviously who we are here at Alabama. People think of as one of the elite places in our country because of a lot of hard work by so many people over the years. And so you say, what do you continue to do to get better? And one of the worst things any organization can do is to become stagnant and not continue to reinvest in their success. And so as we listened and learned, and I can tell you, like, for instance, when I would meet with our staff members, whatever area the department was in, I'd schedule either half-hour or hour-long meetings, depending on the area. And usually let's say I get done with an hour meeting, I'd usually talk for 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll listen the rest of the time. And that's how you learn and hear what's going on. And on game days, I tried to get around during football game days, try to get around throughout Bryant Denny Stadium, same with Coleman Coliseum, same with all of our facilities, and talk to people and hear what their thoughts are. And so as we did that, we continued to develop what our priorities could be. And I think one of the things that that we're all guilty of, especially including myself, sometimes we see the world out of the eyes we have, and we get blinders on and say, well, this is what we need because this is what I see. And one of the things we had to do is make sure we looked at it globally as much as we could. And one of the things we stressed too is what we put together here the other day and announced to everybody. This is going to be fluid. It's going to be this is not set in stone. There's a lot of things we're going to have to do from an approval process and a funding process, but I think it gives us a footprint to really start working with over the next 10 years.
Or does it?
Yeah,
Larry?
We're talking with Greg Byrne. Greg, you had to be so excited. I think I heard you say in the press conference you had watched that video I don't know how many times, but that was the first time you were unveiling this to the community, and man, did you guys knock it out of the park. I mean, I've been around Alabama all my life, and when that video is showing what you guys' vision is and do with the facilities, it blew me away. How satisfying is the response that you've gotten from what you guys have put out?
Well, Barry, it's been really, really positive. We've had a ton of really great response. In fact, the next day, we had multiple people call in the state, within Tuscaloosa, even within the country, who have said, well, I want to be a part of that. And maybe I'm at a point in my life now I can do something where I haven't before. I know one person that called in and said, I'm moving back to Alabama, I'm retiring, and this is what I want to be a part of, and I look forward to this opportunity. And we've got other people who have been around the program for many, many years and saying, what, this is something that we can do to move the program forward and reinvest in our success. And so the response overall has been extremely positive, and that's encouraging to hear. And at the same time, too, part of what you do is when you put these things out too is you listen to the feedback. And as much as I and several people watched this and picked this thing to death for quite a while as we unveiled this thing. There'll be something we haven't thought of. There'll be something that we missed. There'll be something that we can tweak because the feedback that we get from our fan base and the passion they have, and that's part of why you put that out there too, because there's going to be something maybe we haven't thought of, and so that gives us another good opportunity to learn and grow once it becomes public like it has now.
Sure, Dab.
Well, we won't just mention football and basketball because I know you're limited in your time. Football-wise, moving the press areas over to the other side of the field, but being able to sell some of the boxers, or the paper said 8 out of 10. Of course, you never know. But the feedback there is quite different. Those are big changes for me, having been there so long, and the big scoreboard, not scoreboard is not the right word, but the big board in the end zone that will bring money to us, to you, by advertising is two big deals as far as the football is concerned.
Yeah, so the thing have tried to balance is obviously we have to be able to pay for all this, right? I think,
sure.
Coach, you and I probably talked about it. Since I came here, I'd have a lot of people come up and say, well, you need to build a new basketball arena or do something, and you've got the money. I'm like, man, I haven't found that checking account yet where you got $170 million
sure.
just flying around.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't say anything. No, I didn't say a word about that.
Yeah. No, not you, but just in general,
yeah.
As we talked about that going forward. So what we try to do is balance doing things for our fan base across the board, and then finding a way to pay for all those things. And so we thought with the video board that we've been having a heck of a time getting our students to stay at the top of the stadium, and so we thought, let's recreate the wheel a little bit with this. And we got the idea when we went and visited Lambeau Field and what they were doing with some of the most challenging seats in the stadium. And as we talked to our student leadership and said, hey, what if we look a little bit different in how we approach it and put a video board there and a terrace there for our students? And we had a lot of positive feedback there. And so that's going to be a good thing for us. And then, obviously the press who we appreciate what they do and the coverage they give us. I think they can still report the game very accurately and thoroughly, over on the east side on the corner. And that creates an opportunity for us to create our founders boxes, which will help us pay for all these things.
Sure.
And that will impact obviously that area, but it will impact all of our fans as we move all the projects forward and try to give our fans the best game day experience, which we already do a lot of really good things, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to improve. And so those are a few of the things that we could do to try to, again, find that balance between finding the model to pay for all this and then also having the opportunity to improve our fan experience across the board.
Well, you've done a great job, Barry.
Yeah, we're talking with Greg Byrne. Let's talk about Coleman Coliseum. You guys have talked about reducing that down to 10,000 seats. I like it. I was at the University of South Carolina coaching. We moved into the new building, which would seat 18,000. But quite honestly, on a weekday, it made it hard to have a great home court advantage. I think 10,000 seats makes it a tough ticket. I know you probably weren't doing it just for that, but just kind of talk about having to reduce the seating down, but putting in some boxes and stuff like that to make that arena special.
Yeah, well, basically, I think all of us would agree when you look at Coleman, it can be a bit cavernous at times. And obviously we have some really special moments. And what I heard this year, and I had been to Coleman a lot past, but what I heard this year was when we played Oklahoma and we played Tennessee, that those are probably the best crowds that we've had since you were coaching, Coach. And so we looked at I think our average attendance this past year was about, when you counted all the weekday games and everything, was just a hair under 9,000 for the year. And where we had sometimes we had more seats out than that, but what we actually had people in the building. And one of the things, that somebody said to me is you don't necessarily build your church for Easter Sunday, you build it for the other 51 weeks of the year. And so when we looked at our average attendance over the last really 10 years, and knowing also how where people are going from a consumption standpoint of athletics and how they consume it, it's a much more social event, and there are people that just want their seat and their hot dog and the Coke, and that's all they want. And there's other people that want it to be a very social exchange of what takes place. And so we tried to find that balance between the two to where we have lots of really good general seating in the arena, and then we also have different amenities across the board that we haven't had before. And when people would say, "Hey, you got to build an arena," and we looked at that very seriously, but we saw what we could do with Coleman when you really go and bet the entire bowl of Coleman and open the concourses and do all the things that we're looking at doing. We think it's really a good model that's going to be good for our basketball programs, our gymnastics program, and create an intimate, much closer to the court. Somebody may currently be sitting in row 15 or 20, and let's say they end up in row 25 or 30, or vice versa. They're going to end up being much closer to the court because of the configuration of what we're talking about and moving things in and getting people right on top of the action, and that's what we're looking to do. And obviously we're excited about getting the students down there as well.
Yeah, it's that video is beautiful. I look forward to that thing getting done. Greg, Nick Saban had Kobe Bryant in it, and it caused a buzz. Nick Saban always amazes me at some of the things he does. What goes into getting a guy like Kobe Bryant here to speak to the football program?
Well, as you guys know, it's just amazing the people that want to learn and grow and be around our program, and so we have speakers that come in throughout camp for our team, and Ellis Ponder on our staff. Ellis just came to me and said, "Hey, Kobe Bryant wants to come and speak to the team. We just got to get him here," which we were able to do. And it's just as much as where we can learn from somebody like Kobe, and our student athletes and our coaches, and everybody can learn from him. But guys like Kobe Bryant want to learn from us too, and want to learn from Coach Saban and what he goes into running a program like this. I'm going to tell you a story I've never said publicly. But shortly after I was named AD here, I got a call from Bob Baffert, who won the Triple Crown as a horse trainer, and he's an Arizona guy and a wonderful guy. And Bob called me and said, "Hey, Nick Saban's my hero." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, I just look up to him and the success that he has, and here's a guy that's going to go down probably as one of the greatest, not probably, will go down as one of the best horse trainers of all time, and has succeeded at levels that few ever have before." And people like that, and just look up to Coach Saban and the successes that he's had and our program has had, and people want to be around and learn from those people, and Coach wants to learn too. And so it's a great opportunity for our program to have people like that come in and spend time and talking about how they've succeeded and the things they've done that's led to the successes they've had over their lifetime.
Yeah, that.
Well, we need to let him go, but I did want to ask you, and this is far-fetched, but after the 21-22 season, when basketball has to go somewhere, maybe following the Florida model, where I don't want to go completely into that, but there'll be a little bit of a difficult change, won't it, that year?
Yeah, you and I saw that last year, Coach, when we were both down there for the Florida game. Yeah. They basically started at the end of their previous season and then moved it forward. But they played their non-conference games around the state and on the road at other venues. And that's what we're going to be studying to see, okay, how much can we get done in one off season, and is it going to need to be in two phases or just one? At this point, we don't know that yet, but that's what we'll be working on as we're moving our plans forward. My hope is that we could do all of it one off season, but I certainly can't promise that at this point. But the goal is to be able to do that, and then maybe we get around the state and play some of our non-conference games, and then schedule some of our home and homes on the road that week on that year as well. But those are all the things we're going to be working on in the coming months and year.
Well, I want to congratulate you on what you've done, and the general public's crazy about you, I think, and certainly I appreciate you see you from a distance occasionally, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, and hopefully you'll continue to enjoy your work there at the university, and you've done a terrific job thus far, and look forward to talking with you some more sometime. Thanks.
Anytime. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.